Hello everyone. It is February 2nd, 2019, and this video is going to be a bit of a sad one for me, in which we're saying goodbye to a couple machines that I've had in my possession for quite a long time, one in particular. And I know that sounds lame and nerdy, but in an effort to kind of declutter my life and my physical living space, I've been getting rid of a lot of my computer equipment, and after these four machines you see on the bottom here are gone, I'll only really have that one, that Soyata, which is a company that's now defunct in our area, that white box machine, and kind of the iMac, I guess. Not that particular one, but the iMac and G3 in general. Those are really the only two machines that I have left that have been around in my life for quite a long time and have some kind of significant meaning to me. Now, when it comes to what I'm going to be keeping, I should clarify, I've got more than just those two. I do have that one right there in the middle, that Dell, and I've got 4 or 5 laptops hiding over there. But apart from that, that's just really it. I've got my gaming PC upstairs, I've got the iMac over here, and yeah, that PC, the iMac, some laptops. That's about it. So anyway, back to the video topic. Getting rid of these machines. I guess I want to go through and tell you a little bit about each one of them. Again, sounds super lame, but I guess it's a kind of a coping mechanism is not the right term, but I guess you get what I mean. Anyway, not coping mechanism, just way of expressing some of my feelings, which is what I'd like to do. So anyway, this machine here, this is, I guess you could call it a white box PC. I didn't know much about it up until recently. I actually thought it was a lot older than it actually is. The case might be older, but inside it's a Pentium 3 CPU, and it's got a lot of hardware inside. Now this one apparently came from Bow, Bell & Howell. I don't recall right now exactly what they do, but I do recognize the name. If I had to guess, I think they had to do something with phone or telecom, something like that. But whatever they did, whatever this machine was used for, it ended up in the recycling bin at my computer repair shop, so of course I brought it home, with the assumption that the data would be erased and taken care of responsibly, which it was, but not necessarily because I erased it, because the data drive, or the OS drive that was on it, after I'd been poking around with it for a little while trying to hack the password, died, and it just stopped working. There's nothing I could really do to change that, so yeah, the data ended up being gone, so that saves me a little bit of time. But the rest of the machine, never really found out what it was used for, again, because the OS drive died. It had some proprietary version of Linux, some customized version of Linux. Don't know what distribution of it, flavor, whatever you want to call it. But, yeah, never really found it out, so that's a little unfortunate. But it was some kind of server, and I can assume that because it's got a quad port NIC down there in the second slot. It's got 2 single NICs, and then it's got a SCSI card in there, which connects to a SCSI tape drive, a SCSI optical drive, and a SCSI 80 gig drive, which is kind of neat. And that's all I really know about this thing. It's got an 850 megahertz Pentium 3, half or a quarter gig of RAM, I think. It's nothing really special, but I always had been kind of interested in finding out what it was used for, but unfortunately never get to find that out. So I've actually got a buyer lined up for this one currently. He's messaging me on Facebook, and he's willing to pay $80 in shipping. on top of the $10 I was asking for it, just because I wanted it gone. So yeah, I won't say he's crazy because I want it gone, but $80 in shipping is a bit steep. I didn't really expect him to want to pay that. Anyway, let's start over, or go over to the left here. This is a Zenith Data System Z200. I think I made a brief video about this on my channel a couple of years ago. It's a 286 machine. It's got a half a meg of RAM, two 5¼ inch floppy drives, and it's got the rather nice green monochrome display. And it also came with the original keyboard, which is mechanical. I don't remember what key switches it has, but I'm pretty sure it's mechanical. And this was one I pulled out of a recycling bin, very much like the IBM 5160 that I have with the monitor and the Model F keyboard. I pulled it out of the recycling in the same way. The desktop was sitting at the bottom, the keyboard and monitor were set on top of it, and it was in great shape, so I took it. Unfortunately, I never really knew what to do with it, so it just kind of sat, and I appreciated that I had it, but I never knew what to do with it. In fact, I don't know what to do with my 5160 either, but that's a bit of a different one because that's more of a sought-after model than this Zenith machine. That's not to say it's not cool and somebody won't really appreciate it, but I don't know what to do with it. So I am currently selling this on Facebook. I don't know if by the time you see this video it's still going to be there, but I'm just saying that for the purpose of documentation. Going over next to it, that's a Dell Optiplex GX100. Let's see if I can't pull that out. It's probably going to make an awful noise, so headphone users beware. There it is. So, Optiplex GX1. We use these in my high school, or rather I used them when I was in high school, and this one isn't from my high school. It's a little bit different, and it's a white case instead of the black case, but it is still a GX100. And when I saw this machine in recycling, I saved it because I thought it was kind of neat, a little tiny bit of nostalgia from high school. The machines, I always remember they were just absolute trash. Or maybe they weren't trash, they were trashed because of students. The students just ragged on these things. I remember a bunch of the side panels were missing, and maybe weren't missing, but they were broken so you could pull them open, even though they were still locked, and students would throw trash in there all the time. Just stupid crap like that. Anyway, I kind of like the design of this machine too, and that's the other reason why I kept it. I just liked how it looked. And that's about it. Unfortunately, I never really got around to using it. I refurbished this a couple days ago, and it still had the original owner's information on it from when I acquired it about 3 years ago. I just had never done anything with it. So, again, that one's going up for sale. Waiting for somebody to buy that. I'm sure somebody will appreciate having it, which is kind of the point. And this last one, and I think it's maybe the last thing I'll talk about, this one's going to make an awful noise, so yeah. Let me set the camera down. It's really heavy. This absolute unit is a Precision 220 workstation. It weighs 42 pounds as configured, and it is an absolute beast. And this one, again, it's the last one I'll talk about. This one I do have a bit more nostalgia for, and I've debated quite a bit if I actually want to get rid of it, but I decided, you know, I'll put it up for sale, and if somebody wants it, they can have it. If not, this might be one that I hang on to for just a little while longer. Not forever, but just a little bit. So this machine originally came from my dad. It came from where he worked. I won't disclose where he worked, but it came from there. They were tossing it. This might have been around 2010, 2011. And this was one of the first computers that he ever brought home for me. And I don't know, it was kind of special, you know. He thought enough, or he had realized that I had an interest in computers and brought this thing home for me to tinker around with. On a side note, one of the other really awesome computers that I cannot freaking believe I recycled, oh my god, I hate myself for it so much, but another one he brought home was an SGI O2. If you don't know about SGI computers, in particular the O2, or really any of the the SGI workstations, they are getting quite rare, and they fetch quite a bit of money for what they are on eBay. And yeah, it was a little before I knew much about computers. I ended up playing with it for a little while. It fell off of a table, and the plastic broke, and then I decided to get rid of it. I still can't believe I did that. I don't even want to think about it. So anyway, back to this. This is one of the other machines he brought home, among a couple others that were a little less noteworthy. It's got dual 733 megahertz Pentium 3 CPUs. So it's a dual CPU workstation. It used to have half a gig, but now it has 1 gig of RD RAM, which is I think that's the term for it, RD RAM. I don't know, some of the Dells from this time period used a strange, uncommon type of RAM where, you know, if you had 4 banks and you had 2 sticks of RAM, you had to occupy the other ones with 2 blank DIMMs that were just dummy DIMMs. That kind of RAM. So I just recently updated it to 1 gig of RAM for selling it. But yeah, when he brought this home, it still had the original operating system on it from when he worked on it last, and I think it was Windows 2000, either that or NT 4.0 or 4.5. Was that an OS? I can't remember. Probably Windows 2000. And I remember messing around with all the software that was on there. I didn't know what any of it did, but I thought it was cool, so I did. I forgot what I was going to say. Yeah, I don't remember what I was going to say, but anyway, I put a lot of time into this computer. I messed around with it a lot, swapped a lot of parts out, tried to get it to be much more of a powerhouse than it ever actually could have been, but I didn't know that. I thought I was just, you know, throwing good parts in there and it would run faster, which wasn't always the case. But yeah, this one I've had for a really long time, but I think it is just time to get rid of it, give it to somebody new, have them enjoy it. So, yeah, that is that. Don't really know what else to say. I just got those 2 ProLinear. I think one of them's a ProLiant, the other one's a ProLinear compact. Huge ass servers that I'm gonna get rid of pretty soon as well. Don't think I'll be shipping those anywhere, but we'll see. And yeah, after that, I just got 5 machines left. Let's see, iMac, Dell machine, Soyata machine. Yeah, I think that's it. So, thank you guys very much for watching, and we'll see you in the next tech vlog.